All right. So welcome everyone. In this, we will talk about React.js and how to use functional components. So far, we have seen how to build a basic React app and run it in the local development machine. And in this, we will see how we can build our first functional app and bring it into the page to show something out of that component. So to do that, let's just go into the development machine. So let me go to my dev box. And if you can see that, this is my Visual Studio where I have created my React app before. So I kind of have, let's say, created the app already. This just to showcase that this is working. I have started the npm start to run this. And then if I go ahead and then type um, localhost 3000. That's what the port which is getting used. You can see it is this app which is running. Right now, I do not have anything, so nothing is getting displayed. So I kind of cleaned up everything from the app. Now, if I go back to my Visual Studio, and to build a component, essentially what people follow is that they create a folder inside the SRC called components. And you can also have subfolder for each component. Now, each component can not only have the JavaScript, but also the CSS and the images associated to it. So if you have that set, so they try to put them all in the same folder and then build that component out of it, right? You can follow that. But because I'm only using JavaScript, so I just create, let's say, hello.js. Now, one of the conventions we follow is that we give a name with a capital letter. So if you have a hello world, it'll be hello, and then W, H, and W will be capital in this case. So let's just jump into this and try to build the first functional component. So the component can be written using JavaScript function or JavaScript class. So the functional component is JavaScript function. And since I'm using one of the extension called ES7, React Redux extension, which is basically the snippet, so I can use RFC, and then it shows set of um, helper snippet, which I can just tab in, and then it creates the basic structure of my React component. So this is my component. I'm gonna put it into my application. So let's use something like a H1 tag. Let's say hello world. Okay, just like I was doing earlier, but now inside my own component. Now in the app, I need to bring that component in. To bring it, first you need to import it using ES6 syntax. So you say import and then use hello component from and then say dash hello.js. Okay, so you see that you have that component ready in front of you, and you can just call this as normal HTML tag, which will be hello. And it's a self-closing tag, so I can use this self-closing tag. Now you can see that I need to put it the folder name components slash. Okay, so I now have that component in my application. So if I go back to my browser, you see the hello world coming in. So if you change the hello world in the component class to say hello world 1, you see the hello world 1. If you want to, let's say, display the name of the person, you just provide the name of the person and it changes in the browser. Now I want to dynamically, let's say, send some value to this output, right? And to send the value to this kind of component, you can do it through the property, HTML property. So I simply added this component over here. Now what I can do, I can add a property called fname that signifies the first name, and I provide the first name in double quote, just like I provide any attribute value in HTML. Now, to catch hold of that, what you need to do, you need to use something like props. If you say props, now this props will basically hold all the property of that control. Now, using the curly braces, so you can say props dot name. What is the prop name? You just need to mention it. If you do that, now you can see that hello world review is coming from the prop. Just to verify it is the same thing, you can check the value to my full name. I just changed it and it should show me. So now what you have learned is that you can create a functional component, simple JavaScript function, which is basically getting exported as a module, right? Export default. So only one function is getting exported. So that's the default export. And then you have this import in whichever component you want to add this component to. So component basically goes into hierarchical model where, which means that you get to see component inside a component inside a component. So it can go very nested way. So you basically created a nested component within the app.js. And this app.js is basically getting called inside index.js. So if you see that index.js is calling the app. So if you want to directly bring in your components inside the index.js, you can do that similar way, which I have done in the app.js. So I have basically used the prop thing and just to let you know that you need to pass this prop as a parameter in the function and then catch hold of all the properties you are passing. So if you have 10 properties with 10 different things, so you just call them one by one and you get all of them displayed in your. So it is very easy to really work on this kind of thing, which helps you um, kind of bring in all the necessary important elements to your application, right? So you can actually say that, hey, I want to show the first name, last name, email address, and address. So you can create 4 properties in your element. So when you basically put it in the app.js, you can create all these attributes, and then you can read them from your functional component JavaScript file. So that's the way we work with the functional component. And this is one of the recommendations that we will be using functional component wherever possible. And we'll understand why it is like that. We can use class component, but it requires a lot of extra coding. When we learn about a React hook, we know how easy it is to really work on the state management side of the story. But before that, we'll also learn how generally state management conventionally can be done using the class component. So we will explore that also. Then we'll finally go into the Redux. That's the ultimate way to manage the state in the React application. So we'll see various different evolution of the React world, right? So this is the beginning, and this is most important because functional component is the component probably you'll be in getting in you getting to use most of the time in your application, right? It's a simple JavaScript function, looks like that, which returns a JSX component, which is your div command tool, right? So with this, I want to end this thing, and then thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.